Chapter 44, Wolves Live Hard Lives. Pick back up in the middle of this dream, and Zelfree is in the marshal's office on the marshal's ship, and Zelfree made a comment about killing the marshal will be easy. It's the typhoon dragon that you kind of have to worry about. Zelfree has a dagger that is laced with manticore venom, and it's a pretty solid move on that part. So that way he can take all of the marshal's powers away from him as soon as he stabs him. The second the marshal walks in, Zelfree goes in for a gut shot, but because the marshal is so jacked up on not only the typhoon dragon, but he's got a dread form typhoon dragon, he's just roided out and starts wailing on Zelfree. Zelfree does get in with a second one, but this and that's kind of like where the plan doesn't start. It doesn't go well. Zelfree did not plan on getting his ass kicked by the marshal. Volke makes an observation that Zelfree never hesitated. How about that?
The thing he's been harping on.
It's almost like it's a lesson that Zelfree learned a very long time ago and is trying to pass along to Volke about not hesitating. So Zelfree ends up defeating the marshal. And again, we realize that we killed the marshal. Now we have to take out the typhoon dragon. That is a dread form. Oh, joy. Thankfully, Linus was on the ship. Callisto was on the ship with Zelfree, with Hellion, so that they can kind of fly out of the way. They have the Red Falcon standing by, off out of the area, and we just have this epic battle between the Typhoon Dragon and pretty much the rest of the Frith Guild plus Callisto. And reading this over, this is just straight nightmare fuel of a Typhoon Dragon, because it has crab claws coming off of its shoulders, and it's got a total of 4 of them. They're all different sizes. They're not symmetrical in any manner, like rhyme or reason. Like, this thing is just horrid. I believe it's one eye's missing. Like, just, bleh. Just
it's straight
bleh.
Boss battle form. It truly has that like end of game boss battle feel to it.
Yeah, like this is the made it through. This is the last boss to beat the game. Zelfree has to create his aura, but he creates it incorrectly and just pushes it out instead of letting it overflow naturally. This does create the aura, and he does end up giving the Chimera the body of the Typhoon Dragon, which is cool. And Traces actually does end up getting a manticore head, a leviathan head, and an atlas turtle head. Which I totally thought that the Chimera is only 3, but maybe it's just whatever's there. So it could maybe have like 10 heads. Who knows? Traces starts attacking the Typhoon Dragon. She does get bit a couple times, and Volke, watching through Zelfree's eyes, got really concerned and is like, well, wait a minute, Traces isn't infected. She does not get infected because of the manticore head that she has. And she goes and just destroys this Typhoon Dragon. And this is just like a Titan battle going on in the sea. So after Traces takes out the Typhoon Dragon, Zelfree is actually unable to turn off the aura because of everything that was going on, and he's in such pain. Basically, the aura is manifesting itself and pretty much stuck. Callisto, with his quick thinking, brings Hellion over and has Hellion sting Zelfree and causes the aura to stop. This is one of the coolest things that we've seen Callisto do, and as far as these dreams go, to have that thought of, oh, he's not able to stop it, let me stop his magic with mine. And again, it's so weird to see Callisto in a friendly manner. He's not just trying to kill somebody or do steal somebody's eyeball or whatever the case is. He's actually helping somebody.
Yeah, it's some quick thinking on his end.
around the area, the Faceless becomes very well known that he killed the Southern Marshal, and the bounty on the Faceless's head just skyrockets. So Zelfree's pretty much like, hope to God nobody ever figures out that I'm the Faceless, because we're going to have a problem. Maybe this is why Jevil wants Zelfree so bad.
It probably is. I'm sure Jevil knows of the rumors, and I don't know if the bounty is still there, but at least the recognition of I took out the Faceless.
So Zelfree and Calisto go on some R&R. They head over to Port Crown because no best place to go. Calisto actually commissions somebody in Port Crown to have his ship built out of the ghostwood that's in the area. And like two awesome people, best friends, they go out and get matching dragon tattoos. It took me until this reread and to literally read this part where they got matching dragon tattoos for it to dawn on me that they got matching dragon tattoos because they took out the Typhoon dragon.
I didn't realize it the first time either. It wasn't, I got it the second time I was going through. I was like, wait, it's for the Typhoon dragon.
Like, oh. So we do see a scene where Calisto and Zelfree are talking on the half-built ship for Calisto. Calisto is very adamant about taking down Redbeard. And Zelfree is very adamant about taking care of the Blood Plague. Zelfree is basically saying, your quarrel with Redbeard is whatever. We need to take care of the bigger alligator in the room, okay? This is where there's a huge shift between Calisto and Zelfree. And Calisto kind of gets you in the feels a little bit with this. Because he's like, look, I have done everything you've ever asked of me. I've been, the person that has introduced you. You wanted to get out of our hometown. I got you out of our hometown. You wanted to become an Arcanist. I got you to become an Arcanist. You wanted to take down the Marshal of the Southern Seas. I got you to take down the Marshal of the Southern Seas. What have I asked from you to do in return? And this is one of those moments just like, oh my gosh, he's right. Like, Zelfree has been pretty much just using Calisto as a stepping tool instead of as a friend lately.
It also feels like, how long realistically is it going to take to hunt down Redbeard? It seems like, this is something you do, you get it over quickly, and then you can go take on the Blood Plague together. I'm with you. It felt like Zelfree was pretty selfish in the moment.
And like outside of having the knowledge of what Calisto did and or is going to do in the future, you want to give him some sympathy because again, it's starting to make a lot more sense as far as to why this happened. So realistically, Calisto just wants to take out one really, really horrible person that absolutely deserves to not be walking around. And again, you want to feel for Zelfree because he's trying to take care of the plague. Looking big picture here, but dang it, it's a side quest, okay? It's really quick and easy. Just take care of the side quest.
And it gets Calisto on your team. Like, if theoretically, if you do take down Redbeard, you can go after the plague with Calisto. I'd rather have Callisto's help than I would, go after who's ever created the plague, who's obviously going to be stronger than the Marshal. And now you don't have Calisto by your side.
This is where Calisto just snaps, and I completely believe that this is pretty much the end of, or the start of the end for Calisto, the direction he goes with as far as becoming the Dread Pirate and doing everything he does. He's pretty much at a point of he doesn't give a crap about anybody. He's going to do what he wants to do. He's going to be employed by whoever he wants to be employed by. It's only going to benefit him now. Calisto does tell Zelfree to get the heck off his ship or he's going to stab Zelfree again. So basically, Calisto tells Zelfree the next time that they meet that they're no longer friends, but they're enemies. And Volke ends up being shaken awake out of Adelgis's forced sleep. And who is it that he gets to see as soon as he wakes up? None other than Calisto.
From dreams to reality.
And with that, that concludes this week's episode of chapters 41 through 45. And next week, we are going to be doing our last section of Plague Arcanist. We're doing 46 through 50. And then after that, we will have the episode of the tabletop game that Zerza, or his name is Chad, sits down and talks with us about his tabletop game for the Frith Chronicles and his ideas on that, Shammy's thoughts on it. In I believe a week or two from the airing of this episode in particular, Time Marked Warlock will be released for audiobook and in the actual book itself. If you are an ARC member or if you order directly from Shammy, she has some absolutely amazing looking metal bookmarks that she will send to you along with her really, really cool pillar quote boxes. So there's that. And if you want to check out her other works, she's got plenty of other things along with the Frith Chronicles, not even just within the series of this one, but the Nexus games, Half-Life, Empire, Starmark, pretty much any genre you want as far as fantasy goes. She does kind of write a little bit of.
Eric, Scott, and I want to thank everyone for listening today. We post a new episode every Wednesday morning at 11 Eastern, 10 Central, and 8 Pacific Standard Time. We are on all podcasting platforms and are also on YouTube as well for video. After the additional episode airs, we post chapter-by-chapter videos every day in a smaller, easier-to-digest format. We do want to give a special shout-out to the final member of our team, Dan Mackison, one of the admins for the Frith Chronicles wiki, link listed below, and doing his best to keep everything running smoothly behind the scenes. If you want to reach out to us, you can email us at frithguildpod@gmail.com or on Facebook or any other social media by searching for Frith Guild Podcast. Just to remind everybody, we have links to everything in the description below on both the podcast and YouTube. Scott, do you have anything else you want to add this week?
It's very close to finishing the 4th book. It's crazy how fast it goes through.
Oh my goodness! And we would be halfway through the series at the end of this one, so we're coming up on 8 months of recording.
Jeez.
And we're about halfway through the series, so we do appreciate everybody for listening on, and we look forward to hearing from you next week. Thank you. Welcome back to the Frith Guild Podcast. I'm your host, Eric. And today we'll be going over chapters 41 through... That was rude.